All right, Janet, we got another question.
Yep. Next, we have Terrell Thomas. Unmute yourself, please. Or Terrell.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. How you doing?
All right. I appreciate you, Mr. Harper, getting on, man. The information you're selling is just alarming to me. But I did have a question for the master investor. You've been pretty good with helping me out on figuring out entry points on stocks and everything. My question is to you is how do you actually go about setting price targets before
When
you
to exit?
Yeah.
To buy or to exit?
To exit.
You want the real answer? I have to ask because people don't want the real answer sometimes.
You can't handle the truth.
If it's a new company, one of the first places you should set your target at is 10x return, so 1,000%. And if it is a older company, I will set it at 250% return. And that's an easy way to be able to mark off where you should be able to get in and get out. Now, the true answer that no one wants to hear, the real answer is the probability of losing in a quality company if you hold it for 24.2 years is damn near zero. Like the true hack that anybody I talk to, like kudos to Bonawyn, like Josh, Mike, everybody like this really in the hedge fund space. The true test of time is if you can hold something for 30 years. Like if you guys like rest in peace, Nip. If we want to be the manifestation of what he was really talking about, we have to hold our assets for 30 years. Guess what happens? Same thing that happens with grandma's house. We'll hold a stock for 2 or 3 years, get rid of it because we get tired of it. But the true test is like, can we hold for that? And here's what I want you guys to know. Along that 20 to 30 year period, you can take out profit to have fun. So in case you do go on a date and get a chance to have fun.
Anything's possible.
Right? You then can have some fun. But because I think if I tell you to hold for 30, you're like, well, damn, let's say you're 33 now. You're like, I won't be able to have any fun until I'm 63. No, I'm not saying that. But what happens is, even in like when you guys talk about 2-year trades, I'm like, that's only going to cover maybe 2% of your lifespan. And a lot of those same trades you could have been in for 10, 15 years, 18 years. Like how many of us, put yes in chat, if you wish your aunt, grandma, mom, dad, or even you back in college, wish you would have held some of these companies for 10 or 15 years. I'm 39 now. I remember I was like, I don't want to hear that generational wealth shit. I want the bag now. And then I'm like, damn, I got a whole baby that think he's 30 and he's 6 and going to first grade. Like time flies. And the thing about investing is like, if you hold it for a long enough period of time, and I told this to the stock club and I'll say it here quietly, the biggest trick that many people that are detractors and that do not want us to succeed did to us was make us think that long-term investing was really boring, but that's where all the money is. Go look at Y Combinator, go look at Sequoia Capital, any of the top venture funds, and see how long they've held those positions when they took them out of the incubator, took them through that VC space, helped them go public and groomed them, helped Aaron from Box become what he is, Jack, Zuckerberg. They helped groom them. Why? For the same reason Lior was grooming who he was grooming at Def Jam and then at 300. So you can monetize through incubation all the way through maturity of being an older company. They're not letting them fucking companies go after 2 years. Why? Because there's bags along the way as they continue to grow. The real answer is 24 years if you can hold it. You smart.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have stock that I do that with. And I'm more so kind of like applying this to like option strategies and stuff like that.
How old are you?
I am 35.
If you hold a 2-year option, and not saying that you shouldn't, because I do it with futures and that's why I'm able to get a bunch of liquidity. But let's say you live to, how old do you want to live to be?
Maybe at least 70 years old.
Okay, so if you hold a trade for 2 years, that's only 2.8% of your life. You have kids?
Yes, I do.
They're going to burn a hole even if you get 1,000%. So you have to take all the money. This is a trick. Take all the short-term, because a 2-year hold is a short-term trade. Hill, how long have you been in your career?
30 years. 30 years.
Still looks the same.
How good were you in your first 2 years?
He got game. Still looks
No
the same.
good. Not good. Not good. Not good.
It's a maturation process. The longer you hold it. So for those of you that are doing options, shout out to my feature traders. Those of you that shorted NASDAQ and made a killing today. Some of y'all made 30 grand. I'm proud of you. Take 80% of that money and put it in the long term. That's the game. But here's the other trick. Most people won't do it because if you don't love yourself or think that you're worthy of having wealth, you're not going to take the actions that you need to correlate with wealth.
Man.
The brother who knocked down Nip, sucker, right? It wasn't that he hated Nip. He hated what Nip represented because he didn't have a discipline that Nip had. A lot of y'all say y'all love Nip. Y'all can't name songs prior to their last album, though. Some of y'all don't even know who Black Sam is, right? Like, you have to dig deeper and go through those points of suffering. And the reason I bring him up, I was looking at the page and I think it said Nip like impacted thousands of people, but like the portfolio that he was building now is worth $215 million. He was on crypto early. He was one of the few Black urban voices that was on that heavy. Like he would have been, him and I think Kobe would have been the two greatest investors in this era, hands down, because they saw it so early. 2 years is not a long enough period to truly mature what maximum profit potential is. Like when you look at the long-term horizon, you can get a 200,000 or 300,000% return on some companies if you hold for the 30. But they tricked us and like, that's boring as hell. You're not going to be able to have fun. Let us do that shit though. Let us, like Les Moonves didn't give up on CBS in 2 or 3 years. 2 years is a short period of time. But if you are going to trade, take 80% of that money and put in the long term if you want to be happy and be free.
And we also talked about, great question. Thank you, brother. Also, Ian, when you was on my group chat call for financial planning,
that was fun.
University, and we had a conversation, and I was saying for my own personal portfolio, I do options and I do long term, and what I've done previously this year with XLK and XLY specifically is I sold my XLK and XLY 2022 options, and I put the money into XLK and XLY stock.
Long term, yep.
Long term. So, so I still have options, but I've done that a few times where it's like, okay, I'll make a nice profit from the option, and then I'll put the money into the stock. So that's a strategy as well. But I think
that's the only strategy. If you guys really like, you guys say you want to flip. A lot of y'all just want to get enough money going to date and clap. Everything that you want will come to you if you put focus on mastery. Because after a while, even all those pleasures won't mean anything. Partially, that's why a lot of men in the 32 to 41 range, and here we can talk about this too, like how many brothers you've seen, they haven't hit their peak potential, and the pressure and disappointment that comes from that is manifested in frustration towards others.
Yes, definitely.
There you have it. Ian, the life coach. He's more than.
I'm just telling you what I went through and what I did. I don't want to coach nobody. I'm good. I got my baby Xander. Go to bed. I don't want to coach nobody.
What's that show called? Fix My Life. Ian, I think you might have a career in Fix My Life with Ian Dunlap.
Nah, I'm good on that. I do the voiceover work though.
The hard truth with Ian. I think that's a new
hard podcast. Truth is good though.
The hard truth. That's
good.
Truth.
Hold on, write that down.
With Ian Dunlap.
We're gonna split the royalties on the name or what? That's a good name.
The hard truth. I like that. I like that.
I like that.
I like that.